Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat for this, our third episode of the Hyrulean Chronicles, a podcast from the Play Talk Repeat crew where we review and go in depth on the story of every game in the Legend of Zelda timeline. How long has that been wrong in my notes? I've been copy and pasting that from other episodes. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Lewis and Alex.
Hello.
So this will be like a little bit more shorter episode than usual because we're focusing on Four Swords. Four Swords were released in 2002 for the Game Boy Advance as part of a packing with the Game Boy Advance port of A Link to the Past, and therefore it was the 8th release in the mainline Zelda games. So I'm just going to go into the story between the two games, of which there is very little.
Yeah.
Okay. So between a Minish Cap and Four Swords, it essentially serves to retcon the fact that Four Swords released 2 years before a Minish Cap did. Right? So, and then Minish Cap basically introduced Vati, but he'd already been in this other game, he'd already been in this Four Swords, so basically it retcons it. So basically, as we know it, Vati is presumed dead at the end of the Minish Cap, he's presumed defeated. But he reappears with no knowledge of ever being Minish. He then says, fuck it, I'm a wind mage, I'm going to go chill in the Palace of Winds and capture maidens. A hero appears carrying the Four Sword. He then uses a sword to seal Vati inside and then enshrine the sword in the Four Sword Sanctuary. So that all happened before this game. Even though it sounds very similar to what happens in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can we have an opening statement for Four Swords, please?
Four Swords is a game.
It's definitely a game.
That's not Four Swords Adventures.
Not Four Swords Adventures.
And also is specifically Four Swords Anniversary Edition, because original Four Swords isn't single player.
Yes.
Which we all did play it single player.
Yes.
It's to me, the game feels more like a proof of concept rather than a game. It feels more like, here's what we can make on the Game Boy. See if you like it. Pretty much a demo, just to be like, we could do something with this. Yeah. Let us know. And that's sort of the gist of it, really. There isn't much to the game other than just sort of being a tech demo for the most part. That's what it felt to me, anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lewis. That was my initial thought when playing the game. This feels like a tech demo for Four Swords. Yeah. I don't know what else there is to really say about it because we've all had different experiences as well because all dungeons are randomly generated. If you didn't know.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to find out. But yeah, the game's fine for an hour, 2 hour experience.
Yeah, I didn't come out of it thinking that it felt like a tech demo, but it did definitely feel like bonus content. It was definitely something that they had to put into A Link to the Past on the GBA just to give it that bit of extra oomph, give someone a reason to buy it, kind of thing. Plus, it's multiplayer. It's a multiplayer mode for A Link to the Past, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
go with that.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, so it's like essentially what it is. What scores did we give it, by the way, guys?
I give it a 2.
I gave it a 4.
Damn,
It wasn't that the game was bad. It's just, like I said, to me, it just wasn't really a game. It was just this weird...
Worse than Cars.
Sort of... Well, no, because Cars was trying to be a game. Like I said...
Spoilers for Cars.
This is more like, I don't know. It's just, like I said, I don't know. It's like going on a roller coaster where it's like, you get to watch the full motion video cutscenes with it. It's just like, it's an experience. It's not...
Again, it's like this. It's like, oh, Four Swords actually playing Four Swords.
It's just an experience. And because of that, it's like a 2. The game doesn't necessarily do anything to offend me. Like, it doesn't hurt me and it doesn't anger me. It doesn't stress me out. But I can't really give it anything higher than that because it doesn't really give me anything... It doesn't give me a reason to give it a high rating or anything higher than a 2 or a 3. It's just a Zelda experience to me. That's my take on it, a 2.
That's understandable as well.
I gave it a 6.
6?
Which was higher than the Minish Cap.
Better than Minish Cap.
Better than Minish Cap, yeah. I'll get into the meat and potatoes of why.
I don't think I can trust you on any other scores for anything anymore.
That is very
It
bizarre.
did.
I mean, I'll hear you out. But
Yeah,
that's all.
all right. Fuck it. We'll get into it right now. Balls to it.
Right.
It did a lot of things different, and I thought it provided like a fun little take on the Zelda experience where you were timed and everything. These are short. It was all the dungeons were basically you had to you had to do 2 scenarios in each dungeon, and each scenario's picked from a pool of many. I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but so even if you like failed and went back in, the kind of thing, you'd get a different scenario, and it'd be different, including different items and stuff. There's items in this game that I never saw because I wasn't in that scenario.
Yeah.
And I just thought I thought it was fun. I thought it was well done as well. Like there wasn't any point in this game, like in Minish Cap, I was like frustrated or whatever. I wasn't frustrated in this game at all. It was a fun, quick little thing. And just because it's short doesn't mean that it's bad. That's not the case at all.
No.
Classic Oliver.
Right, just because it's short, Oliver Lacey, get to fuck.
Yeah, I fully agree that short stuff isn't bad. My rating has nothing to do with the shortness of it. It's to do with the content of it. I do wish I could have played it multiplayer, either back when the servers were up on the DS or whatever, or with a GBA link cable. I think it would definitely add a lot more to it being able to play with people. The banter definitely would have added to it. But as a single player thing, especially, it's just like I said, it's very lacking. I'm still baffled by a 6, or even after your explanation.
Yeah, it's so
but like, oh yeah, you do you. It's fair.
Yeah, so that's an average score of 4 then, since Unity.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
an average
was
score of
it.
4. Well, that's fine. That's completely fine. So I'd say I put the question in graphically, but it's pretty much looks exactly the same as Minish Cap did, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
it looked a bit
Yeah,
worse.
most
but,
part.
Yeah.
A little bit worse, yeah.
Yeah, it's still, to me, it's like it's exactly what a 2D Zelda should look like. It was fine. There wasn't any kind of overworld or anything in this game. It was all you was on a map screen.
It was all puzzles, no adventure. there was no adventure in that game.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't adventure.
That was one of my problems with it as well. I just felt like, right, I'm just doing some puzzles and I don't really have a story to go off.
Oh well, this is it. This is part of my next bit. So glaring issues with the game. My biggest one is that all of the story, until you beat that final boss, is on the start menu. Everything. I missed it the first time. I had to go back and watch it because I just pressed start and start the game, and obviously it just throws you straight into a dungeon.
Yep.
Gameplay. No explanation as to what you're doing unless you stay on that start menu without pressing start for like a minute.
Yeah.
Daft. Proper daft.
Very daft.
Does anyone else have any other glaring issues with the game?
I had one very big issue. I got soft locked in one of my dungeons and I couldn't progress. I was literally I couldn't figure out what to do for like 20 minutes. That's when I looked up how to do it because I was just like, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
And I found out all dungeons are randomly generated. And I was just like, well, don't know what to do here. I'm just going to restart the dungeon.
To be fair to the game, it does warn you that you can get soft locked.
Yeah, I also feel like that's a good idea as well. The whole random dungeon thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a whole Zelda game focused on that.
That would be cool, like a whole
Like a
Zelda
very-
game, like
yeah.
Breath of the Wild or something.
I think
But,
that'd be very
like
fun.
every shrine is different.
But as said, that's why that goes back to it being to me like a proof of concept. Like we can do these things, and just have a mess about with it in this little sandbox. Just I don't know, just see what.
I'd
it
like
is.
to see
Yeah.
something like that, but like a Zelda Maker type thing, like Mario Maker.
Yeah.
That might be cool.
Yeah, I am waiting for the day Nintendo just do that because it would make them a lot of money. But
Yeah.
there must be a reason they haven't done it yet. Maybe they're just saving it. Maybe there's some like.
Probably
logistical
waited
issues,
for
I don't
Mario
know.
Maker 2 to die down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like procedurally generated dungeon crawlers around. This is basically just like a light version of it, where it's not necessarily procedurally generated. It's just like multiple scenarios kind of thing. But wouldn't now be the best time for a Legend of Zelda roguelite? You know, like
Yeah, for
procedurally
sure,
generated
yeah.
dungeons.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not like other games haven't done this. It's just a Zelda one would make so much money, I think, and I don't know why they haven't done that. Even if it's just giving it to a side company and just letting them just make it.
Yeah, they did it with Cadence of Hyrule. So
I was literally about to say Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah. Be a very fun idea.
Yeah, so I think that covers pretty much everything that I wanted to say, at least.
is that
no,
it?
no. We haven't got to the story of the game yet. Don't worry.
Oh, right, okay.
Story of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
End of
there is a
podcast.
story. It's just not much. Anyway, we'll get into the story of the game. So once again, beware spoilers. We're going to talk about the entire story of this hour-long game now.
Hour-long game.
So Vati is back. What for a third time? Generations after his second arse whooping, Vati the Wind Mage still doesn't remember that he's Minish. Breaks free from the Four Sword and kidnaps Zelda. Link witnesses this and grabs the Four Sword, which breaks him up into 4 different links. Link must then travel to 3 different dungeons to obtain the 3 keys from the 3 great fairies there. Once he has the keys, he enters the Palace of Winds and fights Vati. Vati is once again defeated, Zelda is rescued, and Link returns to normal. That's literally it. That's it. That's the whole story. So what do we think of this story, guys?
Definitely a story you can skip. I feel like if you're doing what we're doing, I'd say play it, but I'm saying if you look at it and you really just don't want to, you won't miss out on anything at all in the slightest.
If you've got an hour spare,
yeah,
then you
like,
can play it.
Go for it. But it's definitely probably the most skippable game. It does have story, it does connect, but you just heard the entire story. You don't need to play the game. You just learned the story. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't expecting much from it. I'm expecting a lot more from Four Swords Adventures when we get to that. But going into this, I knew. Well, I didn't know how short it was until Alex played it first. Then he was like, "I beat it in like an hour," and then I was like, "Oh, okay." So probably before he said that, I did have a bit more hype for it in terms of what it could give. But the moment he told me it was that short, I suddenly was like, "Okay, I understand what this sort of game is going to be now. It's literally just a bonus mode, pretty much. Just have a bit of extra fun in. And story-wise, yeah, I mean, I got what I would have theoretically paid for back in the day, I suppose.
I mean, it was free on...
yeah, exactly. It was free on the
It was free on 3DS.
Yeah.
And then it would have just come with Link to the
It
Past.
would have just come with Link to the Past, yeah, exactly. So just like a bonus thing, so... Yeah.
So you got what you paid for, nothing.
Yeah, exactly,
Definitely got what you
exactly.
paid for. Yeah, I think they did a fairly good job of retconning the fact that they introduced Vati without a proper story. But the thing is, that's in the Hyrule Historia. It's not even in it's like nowhere is that explained in any game why Vati forgot who he was and why he's suddenly the Wind Mage or whatever he is. Well, I guess being killed will do that to you.
Yeah.
I also think the Four Sword gives a feasible reason for Link splitting up and essentially being a multiplayer game. I think it was like explained enough why it was a multiplayer game, why you could play it with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So dungeons, we can't really rate the dungeons because they're all different, but all the bosses are the same. Yes. So what is your favorite boss?
Oh, one sec.
I can only remember one of them. I'm not gonna lie.
I can go first.
We got the...
Yeah,
you go first.
So my favorite
I don't know.
was from the Sea of Trees dungeon, which was the forest one, and it was the big manhandler.
Yeah, that's the only one I remembered.
Big manhandler.
Big
I
manhandler.
remembered.
That name is solid. That's
Yeah,
a good name.
just a big plan. It was very fun. I thought it was great. I think any of the boss fights where you have to switch between the 2 links that you're playing as to like knock it back and forth are really fun. As long as you get the timing right, I really enjoyed that. And also
here we go. The Death Mountain Fireball, man. The one that had the big fiery eyebrows.
I can't remember that one.
Same. I need to see pictures of these.
Yeah.
Vati looks cool too. Why does Vati's model look so much different compared to everyone else's?
I don't know, because he's a big ball with wings.
Yeah, but everyone else's model is like some 2D flat image. Vati's is this big 3D like behemoth. I'm just gonna say Vati, honestly, was my favorite one, I think.
Yeah.
I actually did like the fight for that, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vati was the best boss by far. The others just felt like they lasted like 4 seconds, and then they were dead. It didn't feel like a proper boss.
I get that. So items, there were some items unique to Four Swords. So do we have a favorite one, or do you need to look them up?
I probably need to look them up. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
I need to look them up.
Well, so I'm looking. I'm going
here
to
we
list.
go.
I'm going to list them all there because there's some that I never saw. So there's a bomb, a boomerang, a bow, a chain chomp, a gnat hat, a magnetic glove, a Pegasus boots, Rock's cape, and a shield. No, I never saw chain chomp or the magnetic glove. Did either of you two?
I saw the magnetic glove a few times, but I never saw chain chomp.
I thought the chain chomp was an enemy, not an item. Is that an item?
Yeah.
It's an item in this apparently. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it. So
Four swords.
Magnetic glove was weird.
It,
you have to do something secret to get it. Or
it can
something.
occasionally be obtained as a usable item in Varti's palace. When used, the chain chomp appears tethered to a chain that the Link who has it carries. Like Bow Wow from Link's Awakening, it lunges and eats enemies whole within reach and is able to attack enemies that Link otherwise cannot get to.
So it's right. Okay, so it's just like the Link's Awakening. It's basically an instant kill
Yeah,
for
essentially.
anything
Yeah.
that's on screen.
Yeah, and you carry it around with you. And I never got the magnetic glove. What did the magnetic glove do?
So it pulled things to watch. I used it like twice.
That does sound like what magnetic
So it
glove
had
would do.
north and south. So every time you used it, it swapped. It was very finicky. I
Okay.
didn't like it.
Do we have a favorite?
Rock's cape was back, and I liked gliding and Minish Cap. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's about
Rock's
it,
Rock's
actually.
cape again. Yes.
Yeah, like
We
just
go with
twice.
Rock's cape because that's a good item.
The rest of the items are just pretty much generic Zelda items for the most part.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
except for the Nat Hat, guys.
except
Except
for
for
the
the
Nat
Nat
Hat,
Hat.
yeah.
That was my
just
favorite.
annoying.
No,
Why-
no.
why?
Yeah, it had good so it had good puzzles. You go through the walls and stuff like that, and you didn't have to go to
Yeah,
the
you
tree
go through the
stump.
wall, go big.
I
Yeah.
did like
Go
the
through the
shrinking.
wall.
Yeah, I did
go
like the
big.
shrinking in this compared to Minish Cap.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because it was an item. You didn't have to go to a
Yeah.
specific place, which would be cool if they brought something like that back
yeah.
in future
Yeah, I hope
2D
they do.
Zelda games.
Do we have a least favorite item? I assume yours was the magnetic glove, from what you've said.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work half the time, and I'm pretty sure that's the item I got soft lock with because it didn't work.
Yeah.
I didn't have any particular distaste.
Yeah, no,
towards
no,
any items.
I didn't have one either, to be honest with you, because all the items that I encountered were either good or just basic Zelda items.
Yeah, exactly. So
Did you not have the magnetic glove, Lewis?
no, I didn't have the magnetic glove.
Well, just me then that got fucked over with the magnetic glove.
Yeah,
Nice.
basically, yeah.
It's horrible.
So, so this moves on to the last question again. It's the same as last time, but I don't think anyone's going to say yes to it. Really, I think does this game deserve a remake? It doesn't. It just needs it needs to be somewhere. I think like any of these games, they need to be preserved in a place where you can play them as they
Yes.
were meant to be played. So give it online play, maybe. You know.
I mean,
Yeah, or something that's the same but different, if you
They-
know what I mean.
I know like the Switch hasn't got to online GBA games yet, but they could easily just drop the 3DS version or whatever with the online play. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm sure it'd be an easy thing for them to do. And companies do need to try and start preserving games because otherwise stuff like this will just be lost to
Yeah.
the past.
Yeah.
Because the one on DS, obviously, you can pirate it,
Yeah.
but it was free on the eShop, and then they just got rid of it. They just
Yeah.
removed it because the one day they decided no, I guess. So yeah, I wish Nintendo and just companies in general would start preserving their games, despite how good or bad they may be. Like a team put effort into this, and, like made a game. So I feel like it's nice and smart of them to preserve these things. Whether or not they will, I don't know. Because currently, there's no way to get Four Swords apart from pirating it, or I suppose getting an original copy of A Link to the Past.
Yeah,
Well,
or already having it downloaded on your DS.
Yeah, how's it included in the GBA game? Does anyone know? Is it a separate cartridge, or is it just all?
No, it's all one
assume-
cartridge.
Oh,
I
right.
assume it's just going to be like select A Link to the Past or select Four
Right,
Swords
okay.
on the
Yeah,
menu.
Yeah, so,
It's all
so
it
there you
is.
go. You either have to buy second hand off someone or pirate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and it's probably expensive now.
Yeah, so they do need to figure that out. Despite probably no one ever playing it, I'm sure someone will, like us. I would have played it legally if I could have. If I had the option.
I played it legally.
I mean, I was gonna say I could play it legally, but I have actually got a cartridge for Four Swords: A Link to the Past, but I'm fairly certain it's fake. It hasn't got the stamped serial number on it, so I think it's actually fake. That
Hey.
copy.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah, okay, I
fake.
was gonna say it's not legal, then, is it?
Mhm.
It's just a fake copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, preserve it. I wouldn't recommend playing it, but if you have a spare hour, like Alex said, go for it. I guess.
Just go for
It's
it.
fun. It's an experience.
Yeah, and if you've been playing along with us, if you're doing all the Zelda games, and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yeah.
So to end off the podcast, just to confirm, so our average score for this was 4 out of 10. So
Yeah.
in terms of next podcast, the one that will be out after this will be our video game book club episode on Disney Pixar's Cars. It hurts me every time I say it. It really does.
Yes, I keep
I
forgetting.
just
it's
can't
coming out.
believe he picked
Yeah.
that game out of every single
Well,
game.
be happy we don't have. He can't choose a game for at least the next 3 months. So.
Yeah, so there is
We're
that.
Not
sort of-
till May.
Like April or May,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're fine.
So we haven't got a release schedule for next month in terms of dates, but there will be at least a news and discussion episode. There'll be a video game book club that we haven't decided what we're playing yet. There'll be 2 A to Z of game passes from Niall, and we may
Next month.
next
It's
month.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Next month.
Batman.
The podcast hasn't gone out yet, guys.
No, it's fine.
It was a secret.
Spoilers.
See,
It was a secret.
If you watch Zelda, then you
You're a
find
true.
out the
Yeah, you're a
secrets.
true fan. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
So it's that.
And also, we've said it
Yeah.
a lot.
It's fun.
So yes, where was he up to then? Also, maybe next month will be the next episode of Hyrulean Chronicles, which will focus on the Ocarina of Time, which takes place just before the timeline diverges, and it all becomes a bit of a nightmare. Lastly, we're also making a big push on Twitch. We're almost at affiliate, so please jump over to twitch.tv/play.repeat. Check us out. Maybe give us a follow. We could be affiliate by now, but
Could be affiliate.
still give us a follow. We'll
We
be
could always
lovely.
use more followers.
Yeah, we're streaming a lot at the moment. And finally, for everything Play to Repeat, check us out on our socials. We are at Play to Repeat everywhere. But until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.